Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a movie review. This movie is a horror film from Turkey, Turkish language English subs, released in the year 2015, directed by Kaan Evrenol, and this film is called Baskin. So Baskin is about these police officers. They are bored on one particular evening, and you've got this guy who's a newbie. He really is trying to learn the ways of the police world. You've got this elderly policeman who's really taken this guy under his wing, and he's showing them the ins and outs. So they're not very law-abiding, these policemen, and so it gives you the impression that something dodgy is going on, and it's kind of corrupting what this young policeman's all about. But then things are going to go from bad to worse for this young man when they are called out to a distress call in the middle of the woods, and these policemen have requested urgent backup. So they travel in this van, they go to these woods, they run into a problem that is very strange, and this is the start of their nightmare, because when they get to their destination they realise that this house that is in question could be a gateway to hell, and that inside they're going to be faced with their own worst fears, and they're going to be in a fight for survival. So what happens at that point on, and how the evening turns out for each involved, something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Baskin. I was very intrigued to see this film. I wouldn't say I was excited, because I did have a strong level of scepticism based on the fact that Turkey aren't really well known for their horror films. Yes, they've made a lot of horror films, but none of them have really come out on the worldwide stage, and so therefore you get the feeling that they don't really take their horror very seriously. But Baskin was the first film from Turkey that really captured the audience's attention because of the trailer, and it really came across as a film that was going to be extremely nasty, extremely brutal, and just very memorable. And this is something that Turkey really needed, because whenever it comes to horror, I'm always welcoming of a new country, putting their name on the map. So Kaan Evrenol, in the interviews before this film was released, said he was very happy with the way that it actually finished out. A lot of companies in the United States have actually taken this film in, which is an indication that it does have that quality about it that will appeal to a worldwide audience, as opposed to just staying confined within this country. And so hopefully Australia can pick it up as well. So as I said, there was scepticism coming into it. I didn't know what to expect, but in the end what I got from Baskin was a fairly entertaining ride, and I thought it was a lot better than it actually could have been. A lot of these films, when you don't really know what to expect, they don't come across as very reliable. But this movie, I actually thought that yes, it does have that way about it that will actually appeal to a wider audience, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy Baskin if you go into it with the right expectations. So yes, number one, it is very nasty. It's a very surreal film. It actually feels like it's a very nightmarish film, but it's not excessive. It's not done in a way where it's always in your face. And you've seen worse films out there as far as brutality is concerned, but I thought the brutality was there enough to really please the hardcore sort of gorehounds. But on top of that, what I liked about Baskin was that it actually really concentrated on the atmosphere. At the start of the film, it does create a very creepy sort of tone, and when you've got these police officers who go down this very sort of isolated woodland area, you feel that they're going into a different world, and this is where the tone starts to shift from creepy to straight out terrifying as they go inside this house, and all kinds of just ghastly sort of elements come out and really put them in danger. So I think that there were two tones to the film. You got a very creepy build-up, and then you've got that terrifying element, which keeps the movie, it keeps it from being a boring film, just because you feel that something is just boiling up. You think something is cooking to the point where it's just escalating, and it's just going to be all out, balls to the wall at the end, which is exactly what it is. So I thought the dynamics between these policemen was very good. I wasn't expecting that. You've got a very good performance from the guy who plays the main character, the young guy. You feel that he has a lot of personal demons, and I thought each and every one of these characters was flushed out to the point where you don't exactly care about if they die, but at least you get some investment within these characters. So you feel that the build-up was done for a specific reason, because when the bad things happen, you get that connection and the chemistry between these policemen that wouldn't be there if the actual build-up wasn't the way it was. So it doesn't go straight into the guts and glory at the start. It does give it time to build up, and you get an idea of what the situation is. And when things start to go very, very strange, you can sense that it's escalating to something that is going to please a lot of horror fans. I thought the acting from the supporting cast was very good. These characters of the policemen, they weren't cut and dry, they weren't black and white. They were doing some fairly unlawful things. So you felt that these were very real characters. And then you've got the villains, who I thought were very good. As soon as they go into this house, this is where it starts to take a very surreal sort of tone. I thought there was just very surreal moments that actually felt like you were in a fever-pitch dream, which I really appreciate. I like my fantasy-like films, and if you are a fan of that sort of stuff, then Baskin is really going to capture you with its imagery. Very uncomfortable stuff, and on top of that, it's got some fairly graphic violence in there to cap it all off. And then I thought right at the end, it has a very good finish where it will make you think. It's a very ambiguous sort of ending. which is something I always appreciate because it makes you want to go back and watch it again. So Khan Avranol has made a film that is good enough to go back and watch it once again. So if it does have replay value, then you know that it has been made to a satisfactory level. So yeah, the soundtrack was very good, very unnerving, and just the whole film has that creepy atmosphere that never really lets go. So you always know that you're in for something that is going to make you feel as though it's just slowly getting under your skin and it's just creeping up on you. Now, there are problems to Baskin. I would say that the formula in its storytelling was a little bit off. There were some flashback scenes that happened just as something very interesting was about to happen in the present day. And when the present day is more interesting than the flashback, you start to get a little bit impatient when that flashback is taking place. So in this movie, I kept thinking to myself, can we just get out of the flashback and get to the present day? Because the flashback really isn't proving anything that is adding to the experience. You could have actually done without it, and therefore it would have been the same. And in fact, it would have been even better because you're not taking the attention away from something that should be your standpoint. It should be the showcase, and you're just taking it away, and it just feels like it's halting the progression a little bit, and it feels like it's just a little bit distracting. But having said that, it never really gets in the way of what is a very entertaining film. And if you are a fan of European cinema in particular, and you want to see a country that is not known for their horror movies but definitely has a future in horror, then Khan Avranol's Baskin is one I would recommend. It's very nasty, same time very uncomfortable and very fantasy-like in the way it looks, and so it's definitely a movie that you could do a lot worse with. So overall for Baskin, I'm going to give it 3 stars. Go out there and see it. I found it quite entertaining. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.